Hello, all you lovely ladies and handsome gents. Would you like to hear my opinion? It's a versus video. It's a versus. My opinion of old gray flannel, classic gray flannel, which I used to work for the company that sold gray flannel, and I knew gray flannel very well. I knew it. Versus the new formulation, which I just tried on my husband like 2 weeks ago. Would you like to know my feelings about it? Please stick around. I'll see you soon. Hello. Thank you for coming to see me again, or if this is your first time, welcome to Talk to the Hand Reviews. Today I want to talk to you about about a fragrance I have a history with, a men's fragrance. This will be my first men's fragrance review here on this channel. And I wasn't really thinking about it, but the other day I was in the store with my husband and I came upon a fragrance that I used to work for the company. I didn't work for that company. It was called Gray Flannel. But the company I worked for, I actually worked for Oscar de la Renta, this Oscar de la Renta group of fragrances. And within that group, there were a number of fragrances, and Gray Flannel by Geoffrey Beene was one of them. So it was one that I knew really well. It was one that we promoted, that I went to the different stores, and I was involved with the stock, and I knew what it smelled like, and I'm sure that my boyfriends at the time had it. It's a really, really nice men's fragrance. And the thing that made me want to review it was that I sprayed it on my husband. No, I don't have a new bottle of it now, so I'm sorry if that is, maybe some people think that you should have the bottle now, but because I think I'm okay, I'm qualified because I knew it so well before. So my husband sprayed it on, and it smelled really good. Like in the very beginning, it smelled very similar to the way it used to smell, and as the evening wore on, it became something different. The dry down was not the same. It became this, it was nice. It was still nice. And I would say, if you like gray flannel, if you used to wear gray flannel, you're thinking about getting it again, there's still the soul of the fragrance is still there. But what it dried down to was something that was more like a powdery fragrance, more, almost a bit more feminine, really. Dare I say, more feminine. And it could almost be more like, a shared or a unisex fragrance, maybe now, more so than I would say they used to, because before the dry down was a really dry down. It was very dry. It was one of the driest men's fragrances I think I had the opportunity to smell, because I also did work behind the counter at a department store for specifically men's fragrances. I worked for about a period of 10 years and in cosmetics and fragrances off and on. And during that time, I worked behind the counter for cosmetics for a couple different cosmetic companies, Ultima 2 and Christian Dior. And then I worked for men's fragrances. I worked for women's fragrances. And then I specifically worked for Gentian fragrances for a while. And then I specifically worked for the Oscar group of fragrances, which I'm talking about now. So, because I know it sounds like I'm just making it, I used to work for them, I used to work for them. Well, I just thought maybe I'll just do a really quick history about how did I work for them. So, continuing on with my thoughts about gray flannel. So, yeah, I have to say that it wasn't really one that I'm going to necessarily, you know what? Actually, I would like that on my husband the way it is now. I would. It's just that, we were just trying things, and it wasn't necessarily, we weren't like looking to buy anything at that moment. But I thought that was so interesting, the way that it smelled different from how it used to smell back in the day in like the late 80s, and the late 80s to the late 80s to the late 90s was when I worked in and around the fragrance and cosmetics. So I thought, I actually really do have a lot of memories about a lot of men's fragrances too, working behind the counter. And but what does gray flannel smell like? You might say, you might ask, you know, and that now these descriptives are gonna sound maybe not flattering, but I'm telling you, this is a Class E fragrance. Class E. It's really classy. I mean, it is a. I wrote down some words. It's now this maybe doesn't sound okay. It's like a cold, mossy. It has like a damp basement quality to it. I know, but really, in a good way. I know that's funny that, you know, but what this says to me is this is a boss men's fragrance. This is a no nonsense person. This is a dependable, reliable. It has a sensual, woodsy, earthy quality, but it's not overtly sensual like so many men's fragrances are. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, like maybe men's fragrances don't need to scream sensuality the way that they always do. So much of the time they really do. It's like, you know, it's like, whoa, I'm not trying to know you that way. When someone enters into the room, it's like, no. No, I'm kidding. I really do like men's fragrances, and I don't mind men's fragrances. Some stuff is too strong for me, and then I have to leave because I am one of those people who's very sensitive to smells. Believe it or not, I can get sick from. I'm going to do a video about fragrances that make me sick, literally, because I mean, a lot of them I love, and then surprise, later on, that's not very ladylike, is it? So anyhow, I have, yeah, so this is like, it's, oh wait, they said, who said, oh, they call it, okay, moving on, 10 fragrances that gray flannel supposedly smells like, according to Fragrantica's readers. This is where I got this, Fragrantica, which is a really interesting website. I'm not affiliated with them, but I think they have a lot of really great information. They're not the only website, but there's a lot. They have a lot of information, and they have great pictures. Here we go. 10 fragrances, top 10 fragrances according to Fragrantica readers that smell like gray flannel for men. Here we go. We'll do the countdown, okay? From 10 to 1, okay? Because this actually, it appears that there was some amount of numberage to it, and I don't think that's a word now. Okay, number 10, Malachite Flower from Brocard. Malachite Flower from Brocard. That is 7 people. 7 people said that. Now 7 people, I mean, it's kind of a lot, really. I mean, okay. Malachite Flower from Brocard. Number 9. Tom Ford. Vert de Fleur. Vert de Fleur. Vert de Fleur. Tom Ford, Vert de Fleur. 17 people felt that it was similar to gray flannel. Vert de Fleur, Tom Ford. Number 8. Viola. Okay, I apologize in advance. Violaceum. Violaceum. I'll show the bottle, so hopefully I'll make up for sorry, Violaceum 2 from L'Artisan Parfum. 18 people. Violaceum 2 from L'Artisan Parfum. 18 people. All right. Number 7. This is a familiar name because there's so many new fragrances since I have been kind of out of the game. Out of the game, man. Balenciaga. Who doesn't know Balenciaga, baby? Balenciaga, baby. Balenciaga. L'Essence Balenciaga. L'Essence Balenciaga. 24 people. 24 people felt that that smelled similar to gray flannel for gentlemen. All right. 24. Okay. 7. Okay. That was Balenciaga, L'Essence, Balenciaga. 24 people. All right. Number 6. Now this one I can say I agree. And it never occurred to me before, but I do agree. And I know this one really well because it came out when I was working in fragrances. Fahrenheit from Christian Dior. 25 people felt that it was similar to. Now, Fahrenheit has a lot more of that, like, pheromonal vibe to it, though. Like, it's a lot more overtly sensual kind of thing. It's almost too much, actually. It's almost, but it does smell similar to gray flannel, but it's not, it's like a step back. It's like this guy or girl, whoever the person is who wears it, they're like very similar in the fragrance, yet some of the notes, like probably all through top, mid, and base notes for Fahrenheit, are full of some kind of very, I don't want to say strong, because it's still really nice, forward leaning pheromonal something. Not so for gray flannel, yet they smell similar, but gray flannel is much more laid back, and not laid back, it's all business. It's a boss fragrance, but it is not the kind of person who is going to, it's not a person who's going to it's not overt. There you go. It's not overt. I'll be saved by the word overt. It's not overt. Okay, where was I? I got a little confused. Okay, Fahrenheit was number 6. Okay, number 5. Back to fragrances I don't know. Okay, Limette, Limette, Limette or Limette, 37 San Francisco, Labo. I'm sorry, I know I'm probably messing it up. Like I said, I'll show the bottle, so hopefully you'll know who I mean if I say it wrong. Limette, 37 San Francisco, Labo. 29 people. 29 people, my lovely ladies and handsome gents. 29 people felt that that was similar to good old gray flannel. Even still. Okay, number 4. 34 people felt.
That would be Eau de Gentian Blanche from Hermes. Eau de Gentian Blanche from Hermes. The way I read it, I read it on the paper. It just was so ridiculous. I had to come and do a voiceover over myself. Bye.
You know what? It's time for a chair dance. Okay, back from our little dance there. Continuing on with stuff that people say smells like gray flannel for men. Okay, number 3, getting closer, getting closer. Number 3, and this is kind of mind-blowing for me. This is mind-blowing for me. Because this never occurred to me, but I think maybe you folks might find it interesting. Number 3. The number 3 fragrance that people thought gray flannel for men was similar to, according to Fragrantica. 39 votes. 39 votes. You will never guess. Can you guess? Can you guess? Why don't you just guess right now? Why don't you just type in what you think of it? Just so you know. You know fragrances, right? A lot of you know fragrances. You know what? You folks have been so supportive, and I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I really didn't know, but like, I just want to stop and just say that. Thank you so much. Okay. knowing that you probably are a perfume or fragrance person, if you're here, you're gonna know this one probably. One of my favorite women's fragrances of all time, like at the top, like the very top. Like this is like one that if I had, okay, yeah, I'd be all right with just that one forever. That's how I feel about this fragrance. It's one of my very top. I don't have any right now. It's on my list of getting. It's on my getting it list. Chanel number 19 for women. Dun dun dun. Chanel number 19 for women. You know what? I think I should read. This is like one of those times I should reach over and grab one of my percussion instruments and start like, you know, on my tambourine or whatever. Like I know that no one has dared me yet. No one has dared me to prove that I indeed have within reach percussion instruments upon which I can play. Anyhow, okay. Okay, so that was number 3, Chanel number 19 for women. One of my, you know what though? Oh, I wanted to finish that point. I was like, no. And then I started to think about it. You know what? They have a lot similar qualities. Very similar qualities. But because they're both, because I think Chanel number 19 is so green. It's just a fresh green. It's another fresh green fragrance without a lot of, you know, without a lot of really sensual, sexually, pheromone base notes. So, and when I went on Fragrantica and I compared the notes of Chanel number 19 for women and Gray Flannel for men, they were arranged differently, and it wasn't exactly the same, but I could see that the components were kind of similar. And I thought that was cool because, you know, it's kind of hard to find what some of the notes are and some of the stuff now. A lot of these fragrance companies, they don't really have their own website necessarily. They sell through a group of fragrances, you know, so it's kind of interesting. All right, moving on. Here's another one I don't know, but number 2 with 82 votes. Ombre de Hyacinthe from Tom Ford. Ombre de Hyacinthe from Tom Ford. 82 votes. Ombre de Hyacinthe. Ombre de Hyacinthe. Tom Ford. 82 votes. Don't know that one, but you know, now Gray Flannel, been around a long time. Geoffrey Beene. By the way, I didn't tell you who the nose is. The nose was not Geoffrey Beene, but it was Geoffrey Beene designer. Was the designer, or you know what I mean. Andre Fromentin. Yeah. Okay, so breaking it down now. Breaking it down. Okay, here we go. Number 1. I apologize. I don't know how to say it.
Hi again. Guess what happened? Yes, I could not read my own writing, and so I'm just replacing this with what I actually should have read, which was Eau de Narcisse Bleu by Hermes. Eau de Narcisse Bleu by Hermes. Please don't try to read my lips and embarrass me. Thank you. Bye.
Guess how many people thought that was similar? You won't guess. You say, okay, the last one was 82. You think it's 92? Higher. 102. Higher. Okay, 130. Higher. 144. 144 votes thought that was like my good old Gray Flannel fragrance. My lovely ladies and handsome gents, thank you so much for joining me here on Talk to the Hand Reviews. Please remember to like this video if you liked it at all. You know, it's like if you feel like it. You know, I mean, I don't want to be like, you know, if you really didn't like it. I totally understand. But if you did, I know it's easy to forget. Move on to the next thing. If you don't mind, if you could give it a like, it would help me out because I ain't been around that long on this YouTube and stuff, just a few months. I'm having a great time though. I'm planning on hanging around as much as I can, as long as I can, for now, until it tells me it's not right for me anymore. But like so far, it's been really great. So thank you so much, my lovely ladies and handsome gents, and I hope to see you in the next video. And remember to subscribe and slap the bell. Thanks so much. Bye. Talk to the I don't have enough choices for my thumbnails, I've realized. I've never, like, I don't smile enough. Okay.